I set up my tent beside the lake. The sun was dipping behind the trees, painting the sky a shade of orange. I thought it'd be peaceful out here, away from the stress of my job as an environmental scientist. I was 34 and ready to recharge while working on my project about endangered plant species. That first night, I heard rustling noises outside my tent. At first, I thought it was just animals. Then I heard giggles. I tried to ignore it, thinking it was just families at other campsites. I crawled into my sleeping bag, but sleep didn't come easy. In the following nights, things changed. I woke to strange sounds, crunching leaves and soft whispers that floated just outside my tent. My stomach twisted into knots. I thought about leaving, but it felt too late and too dark. I didn't want to look weak. I told myself it was all in my head. But I started noticing things were off. My backpack had shifted from where I left it. My water bottle rolled to the other side of the tent. I brushed it off as forgetfulness. Then, one night, I saw something. Shadows moved between the trees. My heart raced. I squinted, but nothing was there. The other campers acted strange too. They'd walk past me, whispering and avoiding my gaze. I felt like an intruder in their world. One time, I tried to say hi. They all looked away, shuffling quickly down the path. It made me feel uneasy, like I wasn't safe here. Each night felt heavier with tension. I became hyper-aware of every noise. Branches snapped in the dark. Footsteps echoed behind me. The wind whispered my name, or at least that's how it felt. I told myself to relax, but how could I? One night, I decided to take a walk. I hoped the fresh air would calm my mind. The moonlight shone bright. As I strolled, I heard laughter again. It was so close. The hairs on my arms stood up. I turned back towards my campsite, only to find it empty. I felt the panic rising in my chest. Where did everyone go? I whispered to myself. Then I heard a voice right behind me, soft and chilling. Why are you still here? I spun around, but nobody was there. My heart raced. I backed away, retracing my steps to the tent. I wanted to scream, but I swallowed the noise. I crawled into my sleeping bag, shaking. That night, I lay awake, staring at the fabric of the tent, listening. The sounds grew louder, closer. I could hear low whispers, almost like they were taunting me. I stayed frozen, wishing for morning to come. When dawn finally broke, I packed my things quickly. I didn't care if I left my project behind. I just wanted to be away from that place. The forest felt alive, staring down at me as I left. I won't ever forget that feeling, the voice. I could still hear it in my head, echoing through the trees. Why are you still here? I drove for what felt like hours. My mind swirled with thoughts of the whispering voice and the strange campers. I couldn't shake off the feeling that something was off, not just with the forest, but with the entire experience. My heart still raced, and I felt vulnerable as the trees closed in on both sides of the winding road. To settle my nerves, I pulled over at a roadside diner. The fluorescent lights felt harsh as I entered, flickering slightly above the plastic booths. I ordered a cup of coffee, my hands trembling as I clutched the warm mug. I needed to regroup, to make sense of what I'd experienced. The diner was nearly empty, just a couple sharing a meal in the corner, and the waitress who eyed me curiously. I decided to take a chance and ask her about the campgrounds. Maybe she'd know something. "Have you heard of anything strange happening up by Lake Silver?" I asked, trying to sound casual. She paused, wiping her hands on her apron. "What do you mean?" she asked, skepticism etched across her face. "Just weird noises. I saw shadows, and the campers were acting strange." I felt embarrassed admitting it, but the events were still fresh in my mind. The waitress's expression shifted. "That place has a reputation. People have had odd experiences. You're not the first." Her tone dropped like she was sharing a secret. "Some say the forest doesn't like outsiders. They hear things too. Voices, laughter." My stomach tightened. "What kind of things?" "Just things. Sometimes they don't come back, or they come back changed." She glanced at the couple in the corner, then leaned closer. "If you ever go back, be careful. Stick to well-lit areas. Keep your eyes open." I nodded, a chill creeping over me. I knew I had to avoid going back, but the seed of curiosity had been planted. "Is there anyone around here who knows more?" She hesitated, looking out of the diner window toward the forest in the distance. "There's an old man, Jack. He lives up near the lake. He knows the woods better than most, but he doesn't take kindly to visitors." I flashed back to that feeling of isolation in the campground, the whispers in the dark. "Can you give me directions?" The waitress wrote the address on a napkin, her hand shaking slightly. "Just ask for him by name, but," she paused, looking pointedly at me, "if you see anything strange, don't think too much about it. Keeps you out of trouble." Decision time. The thrill of wanting to uncover the mystery battled with the raw fear that churned in my stomach. I took a deep breath. I wanted answers. Suddenly, the diner's lights flickered again and went dark before buzzing back to life. The couple was gone. The waitress's face blanched. "I think you should..." "Go, now," she said. I didn't have to be told twice. I pushed myself up from the booth, heart racing as I hurried out. That's when I saw it, a figure standing at the tree line, watching me. The sense of dread enveloped me like a fog. An impulse told me to run, but my feet felt glued to the ground. Just like the whispers, that figure felt familiar, and yet it sent a jolt of fear through me. What had I gotten myself into? I stumbled backward as panic surged through me. The figure stood still, an outline against the backdrop of the trees. My heart thudded louder than before. I squinted, trying to make out any details. It wore a dark hoodie, the fabric blending into the night. I couldn't see its face, but I felt its gaze bearing down on me, heavy and intrusive. The hairs on my arms prickled. "Who are you?" I called out, my voice weaker than I intended. No response came, just the soft rustle of leaves, as if the forest itself was breathing. I stepped away from the diner, my instincts screaming for me to escape. But curiosity gripped me. What if it was just another camper? I couldn't turn my back without knowing. "Are you Jack?" I asked, hoping for a reply. Still nothing. The figure shifted slightly, as if considering my question. I strained to see a hint of movement or emotion, but nothing came. Just an unsettling stillness that pressed against my chest. I glanced back at the diner. The waitress watched from the window, her face drawn tight with concern. I could feel her urging me to leave. I took a shaky step forward, but then the figure moved closer, stepping out from behind the trees and into the dim light. It was a man, older, with deep-set eyes that sparkled strangely under the diner's flickering neon. His gaze darted over me, as if sizing me up, dissecting my very soul. A flicker of recognition sparked in my head, but I couldn't place it. "Why are you here?" he asked, his voice gruff but controlled. No hint of a welcome. Words escaped me. I was searching for a reason, but all that came was the truth. "I heard things about the campgrounds." A faint smile appeared on his lips. "No one travels to Lake Silver for the peace of mind." He stepped closer, and I caught a whiff of damp earth and something metallic. "What have you heard?" I felt exposed under his scrutiny. "Just strange noises, people acting different." He narrowed his eyes as if I had just passed a test. You should heed the warnings. The woods are not like they used to be. His voice lost some weight as he gestured toward the trees, but an intensity crept back in. They don't take kindly to the curious. My pulse quickened again. What did that mean? Was it merely the bluster of an old man? Trying to scare off hitchhikers? Or was there something more to his words? Before I could press for more information, he glanced over his shoulder, then turned back to me with urgency. You should go. They're watching. I turned, instinctively looking toward the forest's depth. Uncertainty coiled in my stomach. What do you mean? Who? He hesitated, as if weighing the risk of sharing too much. But his expression darkened, and suddenly he stepped back. You don't want to know, he said sharply. Trust me. I started to back away, suddenly aware of the oppressive silence of the night. The figure seemed to dissolve into the shadows. The air grew thick. I turned to flee, heart racing as I sprinted towards my car. Just as I reached it, I heard whispers, faint but persistent, echoing around me like a chorus of voices. I slammed the door shut, shaking. What had I stumbled into? As I gripped the steering wheel, I realized I couldn't just leave it all behind, not without answers. I had to know what the woods were hiding. The engine roared to life, and I peeled out of the diner's gravel lot, tires kicking up dust. I didn't look back as I drove away, but the man's warning echoed in my mind. They're watching. Who was he talking about? What did they want? I followed the winding roads, trying to shake the unease that settled in my chest. I could feel the weight of the darkness around me, hiding secrets in the shadows. The trees closed in like a living wall, their branches twisting like skeletal fingers. My thoughts drifted back to the whispers. I couldn't understand what they were saying, but the sound still lingered in my ears, chilling me to the bone. I gripped the steering wheel tighter. I needed to regroup, think clearly. Instead of heading back to my rental cabin, I took a detour. Something deep within me urged me to investigate those sounds. I pulled into a small clearing, a forgotten spot I'd come across earlier in the day. The moonlight spilled over the area, revealing a faded sign that read, Campground A. I parked the car and sat still for a moment, taking a deep breath. The air felt electric, charged with anticipation and fear. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being pulled towards something, like a moth to a flame. I stepped out, the crunch of gravel underfoot sounding too loud in the heavy stillness. I glanced around the clearing, illuminated by the moon. The trees towered overhead, casting long shadows that danced on the ground. I could still hear the whispers, clearer now, floating through the air like a haunting melody. I followed the sound, moving cautiously deeper into the woods. The whispers became distinguishable fragments, words slipping in and out of my grasp. Help us, one voice pleaded. Another hissed, leave now. That last warning sent chills racing down my spine. I glanced over my shoulder, half expecting to see the man from the diner lurking behind me. The shadows felt alive, shifting and swirling, but I shook off the fear. I needed to understand. As I ventured further into the woods, I noticed something strange. The ground was littered with broken twigs and leaves, but that wasn't what caught my attention. Here and there, I saw circles of stones, makeshift fire rings, but something about them felt wrong. They seemed older than any campfire I'd ever seen, as if they had been used for something more than roasting marshmallows. Then I saw it, a figure shimmering in the distance, partly obscured by the trees. My heart raced. Was it the man again, or something else? Hello? I called out, my voice trembling. I took another step, and the whispers grew louder, echoing through the branches. My instinct screamed at me to turn back, but curiosity held me captive. I moved closer and suddenly tripped over a root, stumbling to the ground. That's when I saw it, a flash of something metallic among the stones. I reached for it, heart pumping wildly. Whatever it was, I knew it was important. Then Everything went dark. A thick mist rolled in, engulfing the area and swallowing all light. I blinked, blinded, and felt a rush of cold air against my skin. The whispers crescendoed, filling my ears, an overwhelming chorus mixing warning and sorrow. I was not alone. Something in the darkness was watching me. I scrambled back to my feet, adrenaline surging as I turned to flee. But when I did, I heard a voice, clear as day, saying my name. "Why are you here?" It wasn't just a whisper anymore. It was a demand. I froze, my heart pounding wildly in my chest. The voice was low and steady, almost like a spell trying to hold me in place. "Why are you here?" The chill in the air deepened, wrapping around me like cold fingers. My instinct screamed to run, but I forced myself to stay. Maybe it was the shock, or perhaps a twisted curiosity. I took a step back and tried to gather my thoughts. I'm just exploring," I stammered, unsure if anyone or anything could even hear me. "Exploring," the voice echoed back, dripping with skepticism. "You've come too far." The mist began to swirl, dense and alive, and I felt a pull coming from deeper within the darkness. As I squinted through the haze, more shapes emerged. A series of shadowy figures stood a few feet away, their forms shifting and indistinct. Each face seemed familiar, yet I couldn't quite place them. A wave of unease crashed over me. "Who are you?" I managed to say, my voice breaking slightly. My mind raced through all the stories I'd heard, ghosts, lost souls, and long-forgotten campers. Was I confronting the very nightmares whispered about around campfires? "They know you," a different voice spoke, this one soft yet sharp, almost mocking. "They're watching, just as they warned you. You shouldn't have come." The words struck me hard. Could this be connected to the man at the diner? I felt a knot of fear tighten in my stomach. It was a trap. They had lured me here. I turned, ready to bolt. Before I could take a step, the first voice stopped me again. "Do not run. You must learn. You cannot leave until you understand." Understanding? What was there to understand about this madness? All I wanted was to escape the feeling clawing at my mind. But I was frozen. I couldn't shake the sensation that something deeper lay beneath the surface of this encounter. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my heartbeat. "What do you want from me?" I asked, my voice steadier than I felt. "Find the truth," the voice replied, as if that explained everything. The figures started to move closer, their features coming into focus. I could see their eyes now, hollow and filled with a sorrow that gripped me tight. Each face seemed to tell stories of loss and despair. "What truth?" I protested, but the mist thickened and the confusion spiraled around me. I felt something pull at my mind, a fleeting memory of loss, regret, and dread. "Help us," another figure whispered, these words sinking into my skin. "Or be lost like us." That was it. I couldn't stand there any longer. I turned and sprinted back the way I came, my heart racing faster than my feet. I needed to escape this nightmare, but it felt as if the darkness was following me, as if it were alive. Just as I was about to break through the tree line, I stumbled upon the metal object I had seen before. My fingers closed around it instinctively, and in that moment, everything went silent. Suddenly, the world snapped back into focus, the mist dissipating like smoke. I was back at the clearing, heart still racing, but the figures gone. I held the cold metal tightly, my pulse pounding in my ears. As I looked down, I recognized it, a tarnished locket, engraved with symbols I didn't understand. A chill washed over me. I didn't feel safe anymore. Whatever this was, it was just the beginning, and I had crossed a line. The whispers still lingered in the back of my mind, now woven with a new urgency. I had to know more. But what had I just unleashed? I backed away from the clearing, the locket feeling heavy in my hand. The cold metal pressed against my palm, grounding me for just a moment. I needed to think. I couldn't let fear consume me. I had stumbled into something far beyond my understanding, and I couldn't ignore it now. Suddenly, a rustling in the bushes pulled me from my thoughts. I spun around, heart racing again. "Is someone there?" I called out, hoping my voice didn't betray the panic swelling inside me. Nothing responded, only the sound of branches snapping in the distance. I hesitated, then cautiously approached the edge of the trees. My instincts urged me to flee, but curiosity anchored my feet in place. That's when I saw it, a figure moving just beyond the brush. A girl, her hair disheveled, face pale, appeared to be watching me. I squinted, trying to make out her features. "Are you okay?" I asked, stepping closer. She didn't respond. Instead, she turned abruptly and began to walk away, moving deeper into the woods. Without thinking, I followed her. What choice did I have? I needed answers, and perhaps she held the key to why I was drawn here. Navigating through the trees, I called after her. "Wait, please!" My voice echoed back to me, swallowed by the stillness. The girl led me to a small clearing that was eerily similar to the one I had just left. She halted abruptly, eyes wide and terrified. "You shouldn't have come here," she whispered, glancing around as if expecting something to leap out from the shadows. "Why not?" I replied, frustration tinging my voice. "What is this place? Who are those people? What are they trying to tell me?" The questions spilled out, desperate for clarity. She steadied herself, but the fear remained etched across her face. "They haunt this land, trapped because of a mistake. We didn't believe the warnings. You have to leave before it's too late." "What mistake?" I pressed, my frustration turning to dread. A loud crack echoed in the silence, making both of us jump. The underbrush nearby shifted ominously, and her eyes widened in terror. "They're coming," she gasped, grabbing my wrist and pulling me back. In that moment, the cold wind picked up, and the whispers returned, louder this time. They seemed to converge on us, a cacophony of voices echoing the girl's warning. "Help us! Help us!" We stumbled back, but before we could find our footing, a shadow broke from the tree line. I froze, blood running cold, as a figure stepped into view, face obscured by darkness, but eyes burning bright with intensity. "What truth do you seek?" it hissed, and I felt the air around us grow heavy with an unnatural weight. Panic surged through me, and I wanted to scream, to run. I glanced at the girl, who remained frozen beside me, caught in the same trap of terror. I knew I was running out of time. I had to do something, but I wasn't sure how to face whatever was coming for us. Would I find the truth, or was it too late? I could barely breathe. The figure took a step forward, and every instinct in me screamed to run. But my feet were glued to the ground. "What do you want?" I managed to rasp, my voice shaky. Its eyes blazed brighter, piercing through the shadows. "You carry the locket," it said, its voice a low hiss that sent chills coursing through me. The girl beside me let out a stifled gasp. "You can't let it speak!" she cried, shaking her head frantically. "We have to go!" Before I could react, the figure lunged, reaching out toward me with a hand that seemed to merge with the darkness around it. Panic surged as I tore my gaze away and pulled the girl with me. I had to escape. We stumbled backward, the whispers rising around us, growing more frantic. "Help us! Help us!" The voices swirled in my mind, mixing with my own racing thoughts. "What do they mean?" I yelled, trying to make sense of it all. "What help do they want?" The girl looked at me, her expression filled with desperation. "They are lost. They were betrayed, just as we are now. You don't know the danger you're in." Just as I was about to ask more, the figure lunged again. This time, I felt a rush of cold air as it passed inches from my face, missing me entirely. I turned, instincts kicking in, and pulled the girl with me into a sprint. We raced through the trees, chestnut branches clawing at us as we darted away. I wasn't sure where we were going, just that we needed to go far away from whatever that was. "We have to get to the road," I shouted, hoping I could find the trail back. As we ran, I felt the presence behind us, a weight in the air that threatened to pull us down. The whispers intensified, echoing in my ears, mixing with the frantic beat of my heart. I needed to focus, but the fear seeped deep, making it hard to think straight. Then we reached a thicket, and I spotted a narrow path. "This way," I said, veering towards it. The girl hesitated for a moment, then followed. We ducked beneath branches, scrambling down the overgrown path. The whispers faded slightly, but the air felt charged. I couldn't shake the sense we were being hunted. Finally, we burst out onto a wide trail bathed in moonlight. Relief flooded through me until I realized the figure was gone from sight, but I could still feel its presence lurking in the air. "What now?" I panted, glancing back frantically. The girl shook her head, her expression more fearful than ever. "They will follow. We have to find a way to appease them, but I don't know how." Just then, a sudden rustling from the bushes made us freeze. I instinctively tightened my grip on the locket. This wasn't over. Something was coming, and it didn't feel friendly. That's when I saw two glowing eyes peering from the darkness, waiting. The eyes glinted in the moonlight, unblinking and hungry. I could feel the chill running down my spine as they widened, taking in every detail of us. Something primal stirred within me, screaming to flee again. "Stay behind me," I whispered to the girl, my voice barely a breath. I took a hesitant step forward, still clutching the locket tightly in my fist. The glowing eyes didn't move, almost as if they were sizing me up. "What are you doing?" she hissed, her grip tightening on my arm. "We have to go." I didn't respond. My curiosity clashed with my fear. I had to know what was watching us. Bracing myself, I took another cautious step and finally caught sight of what lurked in the shadows. It was a creature unlike anything I had ever seen. It stood low to the ground, covered in dark, matted fur that blended perfectly into the night. But it was the eyes that held me captive, lighting up the darkness like lanterns in the fog. "What do you want?" I called out, surprised by the steadiness of my voice. In that moment, the whispers returned, weaving through my thoughts. I could almost hear them pleading for something, but their words twisted in my mind. You shouldn't have that," the girl suddenly said, her face pale. "The locket, they recognize it." "What do you mean?" I stammered, glancing down at the small item that hung from my neck. I felt an odd sense of warmth radiating from it, a stark contrast to the rest of the night. The creature took a tentative step closer. My heart raced, teetering between fear and fascination. "It's connected to them," she rushed on, panic lacing her words. "It's a relic of their betrayal. If you keep it, they won't stop coming for you." Before I could process her words, the creature let out a deep, guttural growl that vibrated through the ground beneath us. I stumbled back, dragging the girl with me. Its eyes were still locked on me, but I sensed a shift, almost an invitation mingled with menace. "Please," I urged, my thoughts racing. "What do you want from us?" Suddenly, the air grew heavy with tension. All at once, the whispers rose in a cacophony, each word crying for help, each call louder than the last. The creature's eyes flickered with something I couldn't identify. A glimmer of understanding, maybe? I glanced at the girl, panic bubbling up again. "What do we do?" "There's no other choice," she said, her voice a fractured whisper. "You have to give it back. Give them the locket. No! I backed away instinctively. I can't. As soon as the words left my lips, the creature lunged toward us, its massive form crashing through the underbrush. I barely had time to react. Instinct kicked in, and I turned, taking off down the trail, my heart pounding in time with the pounding of my feet. "Run!" I screamed. But the girl was already beside me, fear burning in her eyes as we raced into the darkness once more. But the whispers chased us, relentless and haunting. "Help us! Help us!" they echoed, growing stronger with every hurried breath. I didn't know what would happen next. All that filled my mind was a single suffocating thought. Would we escape whatever was coming, or were we already too late? Then, just as I dared to think we might have a chance, I tripped over a root, falling hard to the ground. I looked up, heart in my throat. A figure stood before me. The flames in its eyes danced, and I knew then the truth. It wasn't just the creature after me. It was a whole world of lost souls. When I hit the ground, pain shot through my knee. I barely had time to register it before the creature loomed before me, a shadow both massive and intimate. Its eyes bore down on me like twin suns, a heavy weight that made it hard to breathe. I scrambled backward, my heart pounding in my ears. The girl was still beside me, eyes wide with terror, but I couldn't focus on her. I was trapped in that moment, lost in the beast's gaze. The whispers surged around us again, a mindless chorus, growing louder and more frantic. "Help us, help us," echoed all around, but instead of comforting, they felt suffocating. "What do you want?" I croaked, barely managing to keep the tremor out of my voice. The creature tilted its head, almost as if it were trying to understand my question. I could feel the locket against my chest, pulsing like a heartbeat. Suddenly, the girl grabbed my arm. "You have to get up, now!" Her urgency broke my fixation. I sprang to my feet, adrenaline flooding my veins. The creature didn't follow. Instead, it fixed its gaze back to the path behind us, and I understood in that instant. It was guarding something. "Come on!" I yelled, pulling her along as we dashed past it. The path was uneven, but I focused on moving forward. I didn't dare look back. The whispers grew softer, but dread settled in my stomach. Where had the cries gone? We burst into a clearing, moonlight flooding the area. I stumbled to a stop, panting heavily. For a few precious seconds, all I could hear was our breath and the soft rustle of trees around us. I quickly scanned the surroundings, looking for any sign of safety, but the shadows felt too deep, too alive. "Do you think it followed us?" I asked, my voice shaky. The girl shook her head, but I could see the uncertainty in her eyes. "I don't know. It might still be out here." I reached for the locket, considering my next move. My fingers brushed against the cool metal, and the whispers returned, growing insistent. I realized in that moment that they weren't just voices in my head. They felt real, tangible. I needed to find out who or what they were. They were seeking something, but what? I turned to the girl. "There's something going on here. We need to uncover it." She frowned. "Uncover what? They want you to give it back. You heard them." "Maybe, but if we don't understand why, they won't stop." She looked at me, doubt flickering across her face. "And what if it leads us right back to that creature?" The question hung heavy in the air. Despite her fears, I felt drawn to the locket. It pulsed with unanswered questions and hints of a past I barely grasped. Without another thought, I stepped further into the clearing, drawn to an eerie glow ahead. But then I saw it. Figures emerging from the shadows at the edge of the trees. Their shapes flickered and wavered like smoke in the wind. They were too many, too close. "Run!" I shouted again, but it was too late. They were upon us, eyes blazing in the night. I gripped the locket tighter, ready to face the tide of lost souls rushing toward us. I felt the air thicken as the spectral figures closed in around us, their whispers folding into a chilling chorus that seemed to reverberate through the very ground beneath my feet. The girl darted to my side, confusion etched on her face, but I couldn't focus on her fear. I was lost in the deep gaze of the spirit's eyes, the weight of their sorrow pressing down upon me. "Help us! Help us!" they cried. But their words twisted in the air, laced with something more ominous than mere desperation. My heart pounded in my chest, and I clutched the locket instinctively, feeling that pulse against my palm. "Why?" I shouted into the maelstrom of voices, feeling like I was screaming into a void. "What do you want from us?" A figure stepped forward, ephemeral in its motions, gliding closer until it cast an iridescent glow that illuminated its face. It looked like a woman, but her features were blurred, almost liquid. The sadness in her eyes mirrored the weight in my heart. "You carry the answer," she rasped, her voice weaving through the chaotic chorus. "We are bound by a betrayal you must uncover." "Betrayal?" I echoed, the word chilling me to the bone. Was this the mistake the girl had warned me about? My pulse quickened as pieces of a frail, ancient puzzle began to surface. But just then, the beast's growl pierced the air, a reminder of our imminent danger. The whispers turned frantic. "Run!" the girl yelled, jerking me back as spectral forms began to swirl and close in, their faces contorted in agony. We couldn't afford to get caught in the locket's pull, not now. I turned, pushing forward through the throng of whispers, dragging the girl behind me. I didn't know where we were running. I only followed the promise of the path that led away from them. The echoes of cries filled my mind, intermingling with the weight of the locket, which seemed to draw nearer towards something only it understood. "What if we can't escape?" she yelled, panic rising in her voice. "Trust me," I shouted back, finding determination within me. "If we can figure out what they want, maybe we can free them." The weight of destiny pressed heavy on my shoulders as I glanced back at the fading luminescence. I couldn't let their cries go unanswered. The trees started to grow thin, and I sensed we were nearing the edge of the woods. Could we reach safety? That notion fluttered like a candle in the wind before it shattered. From the shadows, the creature burst forth, its glowing eyes illuminating the desperation across its face. It lunged toward us, snapping its jaws inches from our heels. "Keep going," I urged, and we veered sharply off the path into another thick thicket, barely evading its grasp. Adrenaline coursing through my veins, I clutched the locket tighter, feeling its pulse begin to sync up with the rhythm of my heart. We stumbled into another clearing, breathless and panting, armed with fear as our only ally. The golden light of the moon bathed us as I looked down at the locket. It shimmered in my grasp as if the restless spirits were urging me to unveil its truth. "Maybe this unlocks it," I said quickly, desperation coursing through me. "If I can just see what's inside." "Oh God, are you insane?" the girl exclaimed, eyes wide. "You can't. They want it. The creature would come for us again." But the locket felt like destiny, pulling me toward it. "We need to answer their call," I insisted, as I fumbled with the latch, my breath quickening in expectation. I popped it open, revealing an old, torn picture inside, a faded face that surrounded a ring of children laughing in the sun. But one girl stood out. Her eyes, dark and deep, pierced into mine. The whispers surged back, a wave crashing over me. "Help us." Before I could process what it all meant, the creature charged back into the clearing, and the air thickened with dread. I had only a moment to act. The girl grabbed my arm, but I knew what I had to do. "Take it," I yelled, tossing the locket toward the figure that loomed just beyond us. Everything froze. The whispers, the shrieking wind, even the beast at our heels. The glowing figures hung in the air, suspended like a deep breath. The locket landed at the feet of the creature, and it paused, enveloped in shadows and fear. Slowly, it leaned down to retrieve the locket, its eyes locking onto mine. A moment stretched, fragile yet volatile, suspended between two worlds. The air crackled with energy. The whispers of the lost intensified, swirling in an ethereal dance. We held our breath, captivated by the moment that felt impossibly loaded. The creature lifted the locket, and the shadows flickered like flames, wrapping around it. The girl and I stood transfixed, hearts racing in uncertainty. But then, whoosh! A piercing light erupted from the locket, brighter than anything I'd ever seen. The swirling shadows began to spiral together, forming a wall of light that cast the creature back with a roar. "Run!" the girl's voice snapped me from my trance, propelling us forward. We raced past the fading creature and the luminous figures, feeling their despair ebb as we reached the tree line, their voices lifting into the ether. As we burst through the edge of the forest, the landscape before us opened bright and expansive, the cold grip of the woods falling away. My heart still raced, but I couldn't shake the feeling of lingering uncertainty. Did we free the spirits? What had we unleashed in the process? As the light surrounded us, I glanced back toward the trees, dark shadows whispering just beyond the perimeter, as if waiting for their next opportunity. I took a deep breath, instinctively clenching my fists. In the rising dawn, I realized there would always be questions left unanswered, mysteries woven into the fabric of the woods, and echoes of whispers that would haunt the edges of my memory, beckoning me back.